Get ready for a deep dive today into the really unsettling world of Stephen King's Misery.
Oh, Misery. A classic.
Yeah, we're going deep into the book itself, really trying to unpack why it's so terrifying. You ever get that feeling like when something's too perfect, a little too good to be true?
I think we all have.
That's where we find Paul Sheldon, right? Successful author, but after this awful car crash, he's at the mercy of that exact feeling.
And that's what King does so well. It's not like, bam, dungeon right from the start. He gives us Paul, injured, vulnerable, but seemingly safe with Annie Wilkes.
Seemingly safe.
Right. But the way King describes her, this sense of solidity, almost like an idol, you pick up on Paul's unease right away.
It's almost like he recognizes, I don't know, something sinister below the surface.
Exactly, like he knows something's off.
And she pulls him from the wreckage, claims to be his #1 fan, but come on, he's isolated, totally dependent on her version of care. Let's just say it takes a dark turn.
Oh, absolutely. And King uses her obsession with his Misery Chastain novels brilliantly. It builds this sense of dread that you just can't shake. When she reads about Misery's death, that reaction, not just disappointment, pure rage.
Chilling.
Remember how she goes silent for days?
Yeah.
Like her whole demeanor changes from adoring fan to, well, something else.
It's terrifying. And then she tries to justify it, saying God is speaking through her.
Delusional, right?
Totally. And let's not forget the punishment, just because Paul even thought about killing Misery off.
Brutal.
Breaking his legs, that's not just about pain, it's about control. She needs him totally under her thumb.
Exactly. King wants us to get that, the depth of her delusion. And nothing shows it better than forcing him to burn his new manuscript.
Oh, can you imagine?
The agony for a writer to destroy their own work like that, pure psychological torture.
Totally. And it's all intertwined, the physical and the mental. He's trapped. And that's when things get really messed up. It's not even just punishment with her. Annie wants to, mold him, make him write the story she wants.
Like she's trying to imprison him with his own talent.
Exactly. To trap him. Have you ever felt that pressure? To create something specific, even if it goes against everything you want to do.
Oh, I'm sure any artist has. The expectations, right? But Paul's dealing with it on a whole other level, with life or death stakes.
And you really get that as King reveals more about her little games, making him write this new Misery novel her way, just the beginning.
Oh, absolutely. It's twisted. She controls every little detail. Plot, dialogue, you name it. His creativity is literally held hostage.
It's a nightmare. And while he's trying to physically survive, he's also fighting for his artistic soul. King doesn't let us off easy. He puts us right inside Paul's mind. You feel the fear, the doubt.
Exactly. King's use of the unreliable narrator is masterful here. Because we're in Paul's head, we're never really sure, is this real or is it the meds? Or Annie messing with him?
Adds a whole other layer of tension, right?
Huge. You never get the full picture. Just makes the horror that much worse.
Like being trapped in a maze, totally lost. And just when you think it can't get worse, we get that scene with the scrapbook.
Oh man, that scene is brilliant and creepy.
At first you think, okay, obsessed fan, right?
Right. Seems normal for Annie, almost. Then you start to see it.
But then Paul's flipping through it, and this horrific truth just hits you.
She's meticulous, right? About everything.
Yeah.
But it goes way beyond just Paul's books.
It's like a trail of bodies following her.
Exactly. All these deaths connected to her, and she's documented every single one.
He's just the latest point on her map. She's not just some fan with a temper. This is calculated, cold. She's a killer hiding behind this mask of obsession and charm.
It elevates the whole thing, not just a horror story anymore. It's psychological. It's about outsmarting a psychopath, reclaiming your own mind.
And in all of this, King reminds us, Paul's a writer, injured, trapped, but still he's observant, resourceful.
The survivor.
Exactly. And King shows that so well. He uses his writing, his only outlet, as this tool to survive. On the surface, he's giving Annie what she wants.
But underneath, there's a plan forming. Risky, desperate, but it's there.
He's trying to escape, but not just the house, right? It's that mental hold she has over him. Remember the laughing place?
Oh yeah, how could you forget?
It's not just where she buries people. It represents the mental prison she has him in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even if he gets out physically, the scars are going to be
We're
there.
a constant reminder of that trauma. It's like King puts us right there with him, feeling that pressure, that sense of dread. Every move matters.
And you can feel it building, that something has to give. It's almost inevitable they're going to clash.
Exactly. And when it finally happens, that's when King really lets loose.
He doesn't hold back at all.
No, he pushes it to the limit. It's visceral, that fight for survival. Brutal.
This isn't some action movie. It's raw, desperate.
You're practically holding your breath reading it, just hoping Paul can get out of this alive.
It's that struggle that makes it so compelling, though,
Yeah.
you know? And the way King connects the physical fight with what's going on in Paul's head.
Right, because for months he's had to bury his own voice, his own creativity.
Forced to write for this madwoman. But in that moment, things change. He fights back.
Not just to save himself, but to save his art.
He's reclaiming himself.
Hmm.
And that image of him burning the manuscript, so powerful.
It's more than just destroying a stack of paper, though, right? It's this act of defiance. He's purging her, erasing her influence. What do you think was more impactful, him getting out of that house or that final act?
It's the fire for me. That's when you really feel the weight of everything he went through. Broken, tortured, but in destroying that story, he finds himself again.
Amazing. Because he's not just burning it down, he's creating something new, a new path forward.
Free from her.
And it reminds you, even when things are darkest, there's still that spark, you know, that hope, that creativity. But King, he doesn't let us off easy. Trauma leaves a mark. Even after Paul escapes, it's still there. The fear, the writer's block.
The scars are real. And that's what makes it so haunting. And don't forget, we don't really know what happens to Annie.
Oh, that's true. Is she really defeated or just waiting for her next victim?
We don't get that closure. It's almost worse, right? That uncertainty makes it all the more chilling.
King at his best. But you're right. Misery, it's more than just horror. It gets at that dark side of fandom, obsession taken to the extreme, and that fight to hold on to yourself when everything seems lost.
It makes you think twice about meeting your heroes, that's for sure.
Right. And the way King uses ordinary things turns them sinister. That leg brace, the typewriter. Suddenly, it's not just a tool, it's a weapon.
It's like he rewires how you see the world, makes you question the everyday.
And that's the power of Misery. King leaves you with this lingering unease, makes you look closer at the things and maybe even the people you think you know.